सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः. So we were looking at the fourth chapter, third Brahmanam, Swayam Jyotir Brahmanam, and here we had already seen the introduction to the 20th Kandika. The word Kandika is used for each of these numbers which are given here by Bhashyakara. Although in popular parlance we even say it is a mantra and all that, correct? But actually speaking, the Upanishads do not have mantra. That's why many times I use the word Vakya, means simply sentences, or Bhashyakara is using Kandika here for each of these things. Because mantras are normally in the Samhita portion of the Veda. The Upanishads are, this Upanishad is actually the Aranyaka, means it is all even after the Brahmana, or it is part of the Shatapatha Brahmana. That's why he is not calling this as mantra. Anyway, so the introduction to this 20th Kandika was given by Bhashyakara, and we saw that already. And he says there that this is started. Okay, why is this particular section started? Because to show that avidya is not something swabhavika. So the ignorance is not your nature. If it is your nature, then you can never get rid of. But ignorance also is something which is not natural to you. It is not your nature. It is adventitious or transient. In fact, he uses the agantukatve like that. Tasyaha agantukatve ka upapattihi katham vana atma dharmaha avidyeti. So, to show that this avidya is not an atma dharma, it is not our swabhava, or it is not really a quality which is inherent in oneself. And it also can come and go in the sense that uh, it is in the deep sleep we say that we do not know anything, we do not see anything. Even that is evident to us, correct? So from the standpoint of Atma, there is no real avidya. Or you can say that the avidya comes and goes in a manifest form as the waking and the dream state. Why I have to say is this agantukatva can create some confusion, because Bhashyakara himself says Naisargikoyam Loka Vyavaharaha, like that in the Brahma Sutra Bhashya. If you see, that means this avidya we also say is anadi, it is beginningless. Because any avidya is really beginningless, correct? If I ask you, do you know Chinese? Means you say I don't know. Means when did it start? If I ask, means it's not, there is no beginning or anything for that, correct? If you don't know, it has been there forever. It has not started from any point in time. So from that standpoint, we say avidya is anadi, but once you know, it is destroyed and it is gone. Okay, anadi santaha means it has an end, but it is beginningless. But also to show that it is not your atma dharma, Bhashyakara also uses the term agantuka. So the agantukatvam is mainly for the avidya karya, we have to say, or the manifestation of avidya. Anyway, so this avidya is the sarva anartha bija bhuta. Bhashyakara has already said it is the seed for all undesirable and unpleasant things. And to know what is the nature of this avidya only, this next Kandika is started like this only, the introduction we saw. Now let us see the actual, this Vakya here. Tava tasya eta hita namna hita nama nadyaha. So Tavai has become Tava. Asya means asya here, this pronoun is used, his, correct? Now, asya means who is referred to here? The Purusha, who is the Vijnana Maya, correct? Who has the identity with the Dehatma Sanghata, correct? Karyakarana Sanghata. So one who identifies with the body mind sense complex is the Asya here, his. And for him, there are nadis called hita nadis, and they are many. Okay, they are spread all over your body. These nadis, again, the word nadi is translated in English in many ways. I think we should leave it without translation, because the translation can create more confusion. So for us, nadis are all subtle. They are not part of the Thula Sharira. The nadis are more sukshma. They are, in fact, the nadis are the support for the Sukshma Sharira itself. They are the ashraya for the Sukshma Sharira. So therefore, these nadis, and how subtle are they? The Upanishad itself says that yatha keshaha sahasradha binnaha tavata animna tishtanti. So you have your hair, correct? Like even the hair is split into thousands means what? Not horizontally, but vertically. If you are splitting the hair, literally you split the hair into thousands, let us say, into 1,000 parts. This it is as fine like that. Nowadays we have all this nano, pico, and all that we say, correct? Uh, that are micro. It starts with micro onwards. So like that, this hair you split it into 1,000 means it is basically the 1,000 also is only an indicator there. So it is like that. It is so subtle. It is so fine. And in that what तिष्ठन्ति शुक्लस्य नीलस्य पिङ्गलस्य हरितस्य लोहितस्य पूर्णा. So uh, so these nadis are all split so fine, and then what? They are filled with white, blue, and then what? Pingala can be taken as either yellow, or some people translate it as brown, but yeah, or yellowish brown you can take. And then Harita is green, Lohita is red. So all these different colors, they are filled with rasa, Bhashyakara says, means they are filled with some kind of a subtle fluid again, which are all given all these colors. And in fact, Bhashyakara refers to the Ayurveda here and says that all these different colors are talked about because to show that we talk about Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, correct? So the different combinations of Vata, Pitta, Kapha only fill up like this, these nadis. So that is why these different colors are given. They are filled like this. And once it is filled, it becomes the uh, the 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 ashraya for, I told you, correct, the sukshma sharira. It is the seat or support for all the vasanas which you are carrying with you. Okay, those impressions only then project themselves as dream and all that. Now that is what is going to be talked about here. So the Upanishad says, Atha, thereafter what? Yatra yenam gnanti iva, jinanti iva, hasti iva, vichayayati, gartam iva patati. So there what? These vasanas can then project themselves, and then you see as though somebody is killing you. Gnanti iva, jinanti iva means somebody is hitting you or overpowering you, or some elephant is chasing you. Hasti iva vichayayati. In all these things, the iva pada is very important. It is all iva, 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 as though there is no reality to all these things. Or gartam iva patati means you, as though you have fallen into a pit and you are not able to get up. So all these nightmares can be there. Or what? And also what? Yadeva jagrad bhayam pashyati tad atra avidyaya manyate. So you fall into all these pits and all that and experience what? Terrible things, correct? Whatever is frightening, in fact, we have to say frightening things he has experienced this Purusha. And whatever frightening things you experience in the dream are the same as what you have experienced in the waking, correct? That vasana for that has come from the waking. So whatever you have experienced in the waking, that you are experiencing now again in vasana rupa in the dream. And this is again, and when you are experiencing it, it is all true, correct? It looks like it is all happening really, and that is because of ignorance, correct? You are conjuring up this entire dream experience and going through that experience as though it is true only because of avidya. Avidyaya manyante. Very clearly, the Upanishad itself uses avidya here. This is one of the important pramana vakyas for us. Avidyaya manyante atha yatra deva iva raja iva ahameva idam sarvaha asmi iti manyate saha asya paramo lokaha. Also what? Not only you can have nightmare. So nightmare and all is because the similar kind of experiences you have had in the waking also means you are avidyavan, but in the waking you do lot of upasana, you do lot of dhyanam, also you are doing all this Vedanta Shravanam, etc. Let us say, when that vasana only is going to come in the dream also. Upanishad itself says, correct? So once you have become a Vedanta student, even your dream has to be about the subject matter of Vedanta only, correct? And that is also natural, I think. Whichever subject matter you are very much interested in, which you have taken a fancy for, and in which you are all the time dwelling, even in waking, that is going to come in dream also. So thereafter what? If you have had such vasanas from your waking, then what? Even in the dream, you take yourself as a deva. Okay, because yad bhavam tad bhavati, like that we say, whatever you are thinking about or whatever you are visualizing, you become that. Therefore, if you are doing upasana of a particular devata in the waking, then you can become that devata only in the dream also, or you become a king. And or if you are a Vedanta student, then what? Aham eva idam sarvaha asmi. Sarvatma bhava. All that is here is nothing but me. That is your sarvatma bhava here. That also can happen in the dream. Iti manyate. And that is what? That is the greatest for you. Okay. Aham eva idam sarvaha asmi iti manyate saha asya paramo lokaha. It is the greatest state you can say, or greatest phalam for you. So both are possible. So like this here, from this, what we know is that this avidya can go away, and vidya, once the vidya or the knowledge keeps on increasing and avidya keeps on decreasing, correct? That's a process. Even Bhashyakara will talk about that in the Bhashya. So I always say this jnanam is not just an event. Understand that. It is not like you switch on and the light comes. It is it is more like dawn. It is more like sunrise. It is a process. It is a process of growing clarity. Means avidya keeps on reducing, and as you gain clarity, the vidya is increasing, more and more clarity, and then one day it is your nature, correct? It is your very nature. And that is the paramo lokaha. There is no other loka to go or gain or anything. Right here and now, you have to own up to your reality. That's all. That is the parama loka for you. Or, of course, like we play the Paramapada, that game we all have played, I think, at least the Indians, during this, we used to have, correct? Ekadashi. In fact, today also is Ekadashi, I think. Vaikunta Ekadashi and all, we used to keep awake the whole night and then play this game, snakes and ladders in English. So you can also fall. That is also a reality. So whatever sadhana you are doing, some days you feel good, some days you feel terrible. All that is also part of this. You should not be uh, discouraged by that or disheartened, just keep up your abhyasa. So Bhagavan also says, abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. So you have to be patient yourself with yourself and do whatever your sadhana. Then this avidya will decrease, and this knowledge, the clarity is going to increase, and knowledge will destroy this avidya fully. So that is what is shown here by the Upanishad, and Bhashyakara also will show that here. So let us see. Taha vai asya shirah panyadi lakshanasya purushasya. So this asya means Bhashyakara is saying shirah panyadi. Okay. So in him, in this man, what with the head and feet, etc. Correct? Means this Karya Karana Sanghata, one who identifies with that person, the Vijnana Mayaha, Yetaha Hita Nama Nadyaha, these nadis which have the name Hita, and how are they? Yata Keshaha Sahasradha Bhinnaha, like even the hair is split into 1,000, they are Tavata Tavat Parimanena. Tavata means it is like that, its measure, its dimensions are like that, means very, very fine. Animna Anutvena Tishtanti, so they are there, like even Anutvena means like atomic dimensions we can take, correct? So Animna Tishtanti, and in that what? Lascha Suklasya Rasasya, so the Rasa Bhashyakara adds here because the Rasa is not there in the Upanishad. Suklasya, Neelasya, Pinkalasya, Haritasya, Lohatasya, Purnaha only is there. So here means Suklasya Rasasya he adds. The Rasa means it is some kind of a fluid we have to understand. But again, this is all subtle. Or this is the Rasa, in fact, we also talk about, correct? Whatever you eat, in that again it becomes, there is a gross thing which goes out as excretion. There is a fine thing which is absorbed as nutrition for the physical body. There is a finer thing which is taken for your subtle body, and in fact it affects your mind also. That's why we always say whatever you eat will affect your mind. Therefore you have to be, as a sadhaka, you have to be careful about what you eat, where you eat, from whom you get the food and eat also is very important. So in our tradition, all these things are important for us, particularly with reference to food. That's why there are some people who have this niyama, correct? They eat only whatever they cook themselves. There are people like that even today. Sopaka, they do their own cooking. They will not eat food cooked by anybody else at all. Okay. So anyway, so here this rasa, and they can have different colors. Shuklasya, Neelasya, Pinkalasya, Haritasya, Lohitasya means white, blue, yellow or brown, then green, red, etc. Purnaha means they are filled with all this rasa, these nadis. And why all these colors are mentioned? Bhashyakara says, Etaihi Shuklatvadibihi Rasa Visheshaihi Purnaha Ityarthaha. So it is filled with all this white, etc., colored fluids. And further what? Ete cha rasanam varna visheshaha vata pitta shleshmana shleshmanam itara sanyoga vaishamya visheshat vichitra bhavascha bhavanti. So all these rasas, why all this varna vishesha for this rasa, why is it mentioned, or on what basis means? They are because we have all this vata and pitta and kapha, correct, in our body. But in fact, our Anandagiri here even quotes the Shushruta Samhita and says that Bhashyakara is referring to that. So I don't want to go into Ayurveda, that is not my subject matter. But all these different Vata, Pitta, Kapha, they join with each other in different proportions, let us say. And then because of that only, all these colors. And again here, or you can take it as even Sattva, Rajas, Tamas also. Right? All these, we have this threefold gunas are also there. Or from an Ayurveda standpoint, we can take it as Vata, Pitta and Kapha. They are also given colors even in Ayurveda. Okay. And so depending on how they, in what proportion they are mixing up, all these different colors, variegated colors you get. And what? Tasu evam vidhasu nadishu sukshmasu valagra sahasra bheda parimanasu shukladi rasa purnasu sakala deha vyapinishu sapta dashakam lingam vartate. So now all uh, this these things are what? All these nadis are there. Okay. And this entire Sukshma Sharira has its Ashraya, that is Sapta Dashakam Lingam. Linga Shariram also it is called. The Sukshma Sharira is called Linga Sharira because it is the one, Linga means generally an indication or a sign. And it is the one which indicates whether you are alive or not, correct? A body is dead or it is alive. How do you know? If the Sukshma Sharira is active, then it indicates that that prana is there, the body is alive. Otherwise, gone. Okay. So that's why it is called Linga Sharira. Here Lingam means the subtle body only is mentioned, and it has 17 constituents, correct? 17 or sometimes 19 also we say, because we have the Pancha Pranaha are there obviously. Then Pancha Karmendriya, Pancha Jnanendriya, then Manas and Buddhi. If you take it like that, then it has 17 constituents. And so there, in these nadis only, and with this rasas being filled there, in that only, this linga sharira itself is there. So these nadis and the rasa become the ashraya for that, correct? Okay, so in this kind of nadis, which are all sukshma and valagra sahasra bheda parimanasu, means what? They are all of the measure are so fine, like they have been split. The hair has been split 1,000 times, and also they are filled with all this white etc fluids, and they are there all over the body. Bhashyakara says sakala deha vyapinishu, and they are the ones which are the ashraya for the 17-fold subtle body. Tad ashritaha sarva vasana utsavacha samsara dharma anubhava janitaha. So again in that sukshma sharira only the all the vasanas are there, correct? They are having this sukshma sharira is the ashraya or the support for all the vasanas. It is the abode of all the vasanas. And what kind of vasana means? All kinds of vasanas. It's not always good, correct? Ucha vacha means basically nana vidha we have to take, or high and low. Ucha vacha literally means high and low, or variegated, or very many different kinds of vasanas or impressions. And again, what? How did these vasanas come about? Means samsara dharma anubhava janita. This is from your own anubhava only. Your anubhava, whatever you are experiencing in the waking, all of that is now stored as impressions in the sukshma sharira, and it is all samsara dharma anubhava. Basically, Bhashyakara says the anubhava is of a world in which you are a individual, correct? You are limited individual experiencing the world, and all those experiences are now stored as impressions here. And tat lingam vasanashrayam sukshmatvat swacham spatika manikalpam nadigata rasa upadhi samsarga vashat dharma dharma prerita udbhuta vritti vishesham त्रिरथ हस्त्याद्याकार विशेषैः वासनाभिः pratyavabhasate. Of course, Bhashyakara here is again referring to the analogy he gave already, correct? That that there is a mani, swacha, spatika mani is there. That is like the consciousness, correct? But then you put it into some kind of a, let us say, a liquid which is colored, means it looks as though it is also colored, correct? That is the Vijnana Maya we say. We are really only Vijnana Swarupa. But the we are really Jnana Swarupa, but we are appearing as though we are the Buddhi, which is limited, correct? That is what is called Vijnana Maya. Because the Buddhi and the consciousness are so tightly coupled, it's very difficult to discriminate and understand them as separate. So like that here he says Tad Lingam Vasanashrayam. So the Linga Sharira, the Sukshma Sharira, which is the Ashraya for all the impressions, the Vasanas, it is the abode. And being subtle, and it is Swachha Spatika Mani Kalpam, means it is like the, here it is another level, that same analogy is taking. Here the Linga Sharira itself is taken as the Spatika Mani. Okay, and it is pure. That's why it is called Sattva also. Sattva Shuddhi and all we say, correct? Sattva, the word, is used for the Antakarana and also the Linga Sharira, because this mind and the Linga Sharira, this mind particularly, and the Jnanendriyas are formed from the Sattva Guna Pradhana, all the Tanmatras, correct? The Sattva Guna of the Tanmatras are taken and they only form all this. Therefore, they are Swachha, they are pure, they are like Spatika Mani. Spatika is the transparent jewel, correct? And but what they are now mixed with all this Nadi Gata Rasa Upadi Samsarga Vashat. But the Nadi is filled with all different kinds of rasa, correct? Different colors, Vata, Pitta, Kapha. So when it is then coming into contact with that Samsarga Vashat, what? Then what? Dharma Prerita Udbhuta Vritti Vishesham. So once this Sukshma Sharira comes into contact with this Nadi and all the rasa, different colored rasas, then it also gets colored. And then what? It gains all these qualities. Vritti Visheshas are also there. All the modifications, the Sukshma Sharira gains all these modifications, which are again impelled by what? Your own karma, dharma and adharma, correct? Dharma, dharma, prerita, udbhuta. So they are born because what? These Vritti Visheshas are all born because of being impelled by your own papa and punya. And accordingly, all these projections you see now, correct? Whether it is a stree with whom you are enjoying, or a ratha, or a chariot in which you are traveling, or you are seeing some elephant which is chasing you, all these things, stree, ratha, astyadi, akara, visheshaihi, vasana bihi pratyavabhasate. So only due to these vasanas, all these things are all now appearing to you. It is evident to you. You are projecting and seeing that also. And the projections themselves are coming from the Sukshma Sharira, and okay, this Linga Sharira itself has its Ashraya in all these Nadis and the Rasas which are there in the Nadi, which is filled with all this Rasa. And when the Sukshma Sharira and all this Nadi filled with Rasa come into contact with each other, then all these projections happen. And all these projections themselves have their basis in your own Dharma and Adharma. So that's what he says. So thereafter what? This being so, Atha evam sati, Yatra yasmin kale, kechana shatravaha, anyeva taskaraha, mam agatya gnanti. So this being the case, what? Now projection has happened, and in that what? You can also see all terrible nightmare, correct? So in which what? Kechana shatravaha, at a particular time, in the dream what happens? Some shatrus are there, or even thieves. They come, and mam ghananti means they they try to kill you. Okay, but it's not real. It's only a projection. So iti vrisha eva vasana nimittaha pratyaya avidyakhyah jayate. So whatever you see, these projections, these are all only mrisha, correct? They are not real. They are all false. And that is what is called avidya, avidyakhyah. Okay. So you see all these things, and they are all due to only vasanas. There is no externally really something like that. There is no external object. when you see all these things in the dream, and these things are all born, which are false from the impressions, and they are also called avidyakhyaha, tad etad uchyate. So with reference to that, what this is said, what is that? Yenam swapna drisham gnantiva iti. So with reference to that only the Upanishad is saying here. Okay. So in the Upanishad, in fact, straight away it says atha yatra yenam gnantiva, like this. That's what Bhashyakara is again. He's connecting that here, but he has connected with all the all the vasanas which are there in the Sukshma Sharira, which itself is having the ashraya in the nadis about which the Upanishad talked about. Correct? That connection he has given. Now he is continuing with this. So therefore, in that dream state, you see all these things. Okay. So you see as though you are being killed. Similarly, what? Tata jinanti va vashi kurvanti va. So somebody has overpowered you, taken you under their control, okay, arrested you, whatever. But in reality, what? Na kechana gnanti, napi vashi kurvanti. So nobody has really taken you into custody, or they have not killed you or anything. Kevalam tu avidya vasanodbhavana udbhava nimittam bhranti matram. It's purely due to avidya, ignorance. The vasanas which are born again, which are all due to avidya only. So the vasanas which are born of avidya, and again from those vasanas only whatever projection happened, it is due to that. The projections were there. It is all bhranti matra. It is only erroneous cognition. There is no reality to that. Similarly, what? Tatha asti iva yenam vichayayati, vichadayati, vidravayati, dhavayati iva ityarthaha. Also, like elephant is chasing you, it is running, it is running behind you. You are also running. Okay, dhavati iva, but the ivakara everywhere is there. That Bhashyakara also never leaves that, correct? Everywhere he puts gnanti iva, jananti iva, asti iva, vichayati iva, or dhavati iva, all these things. And then gartam iva patati, gartam jirna kupadikam iva patantam atmanam upalakshayati. So jirna kupadi means what? Some kind of a pit or a well and all that. So that is garta, and in that you have fallen, let us say. So it actually atmanam upalakshayati means it actually characterizes yourself, correct? So basically you have mistaken as though you have fallen into a jirna, means again jirna kupa is like dilapidated well, correct? A well in disuse, and sometimes people can fall into all that and it becomes a problem, correct? So you think that you have fallen into a well, a pit, but all these things basically atmanam upalakshayati means you see yourself like that, in that position, and but that is all only due to avidya, that he is saying here. Tadrishi hi asya mrisha vasana udbhavati atyante nikrishta adharmod भासिता अंतःकरण वृत्त्याश्रया, अधर्म उद्भासित अंतःकरण वृत्त्याश्रया दुःख रूपत्वा. Again, so such kind of experiences, tadrishihi, again it is born out of these false impressions only, but they are all atyante nikrishta, means what? They are very lowly. These are all born by nikrishta vasanas. Basically, again it is born out of your own past experiences only. Whatever you may have experienced in the waking, those things are also coming here, and because but they are all born due to your own papa, adharma, correct? Due to adharma and papa, whatever you have experienced in the waking, that is the antakarana vritti. Because of that, this vasana is there. So adharma udbhasita antakarana vritti ashraya means what? They are all basically, these vasanas themselves are based on whatever vritti, the antakarana vritti you had already, you have experienced due to your own adharma, and that alone is again coming here in the dream also, that vasana. And we have to say all this is based on adharma or papa because it is dukkha rupa. Even in the dream, it is a nightmare, correct? It is not a sukha rupa. In the dream, you are experiencing dukkha. Okay. So further what kim bahuna yadeva jagrat bhayam pashyati hastyadi lakshanam tadeva bhaya rupam atra asmin swapne vinaiva hastyadi rupam bhayam avidya vasanaya brishaiva udbhutaya manyate. So what why do you have to keep on going on this? So basically so it says in short, what this is the summary. He summarizes whatever you see in the jagrat, okay, frightening things, bhayam pashyati, like elephant, etc. The same frightening things you see in the swapna also, but the really nothing external is there. Okay. So Vinaiva Astyadi Rupam, without the Hasti, etc., without the elephant, etc., being there really, but you still see these frightening things. And how? Due to only avidya vasanaya, due to the impressions born out of avidya, and they are all brishaiva udbhutaya manyate, they are all false. Okay, they are all born out of this false impressions, and they are false, they are not really there. Okay, so that is what is made clear here. And now the important part comes, very interesting. Atha punaha yatra avidya apkrishyamana vidya cha utkrishyamana, means if the avidya becomes, it decreases, correct? Apakrishyamana means avidya is getting destroyed, but it is not completely gone. So it is decreasing. In vidya cha utkrishyamana, vidya, the knowledge is rising, knowledge is increasing, growing clarity is there. So then what happens? So kim vishaya, kim lakshana cha iti uchyate. So uh, the nature of this knowledge and what is the content or the subject matter of this knowledge is also now going to be said here. Okay. So kim vishaya, kim lakshana, what is the characteristic of this knowledge? What is the subject matter? What is that? Tatha punaha yatra yasmin kale deva iva swayam bhavati. So again in the same dream, you can take yourself as a deva, okay, as a divine being. And how is it that possible? Means devata vishaya vidya yada udbhuta jagirita kale, means in waking also you have done this. Vidya here is basically upasana, correct? So you have done some upasana, some dhyanam with reference to a devata. Devata vishaya vidya has already you have done. That is udbhuta, means it has arisen in the waking state. Tada udbhutaya vasanaya devamiva atmanam manyate. So that whatever upasana and manovritti you are having in the Jagrat Kala, that has created the vasana, correct? And therefore, that vasana only is now appearing here, or it is projecting, and you take yourself as a deva. Devamiva atmanam manyate. So swapne api tad uchyate. So even in the dream, it is like that. So even in the waking also you can consider yad bhavam tad bhavati. That's why we say that whatever upasana you do, you become that only. It is true for the waking, and that is also true in swapna. He says swapne api tad uchyate. It is true in the swapna also. Deva iva raja iva rajyasthaha abhishiktaha, means raja iva means raja iva means the one who is in a rajya, and abhishikta means one who has been crowned, right? As the king. So swapne api raja aham iti manyate, raja vasana vasitaha. So the one who has this or one who is already a king in waking also, or at least takes himself as a king, will also dream that I am the king. Like that, one who has the Raja Vasana, okay, you have already been in the waking, you have been consecrated, or what do we call the we call it the Rajya Abhisheka and all that, correct? So you have been declared the king, you have been installed as the king and the ruler of the state, and in the dream also that Vasana being there from the waking, in dream also you look upon yourself as a king only because of the impressions, okay, because of the Vasana. You are you are under the spell of those vasanas, correct? Vasana vasitaha, that Raja Vasana vasitaha. So you have this royal vasana, royal impressions you have, so you take yourself as a royalty even in dream. Evam atyanta rakshiyamanaha avidya udbhuta cha vidya sarvatma vishaya yada tada swapnepi tad bhava bhavitaha. So atyantya prakshiyamana means what? In this manner, this avidya is become totally it is becoming kina, means it is becoming weak and weak and weak, correct? It is getting destroyed and it is very weak. And vidya, so udbhuta. So udbhuta cha vidya means the knowledge also is rising, it is growing. Okay, as the knowledge rises, ignorance is getting destroyed, it is becoming weaker and weaker. And then what kind of knowledge? Sarvatma Vishaya. This knowledge really is Atma Jnanam. Aham, I am the self of all. That is the Sarvatma Vishaya. Vidya is rising and this Avidya is going down and down and it is weak. This is happening in the waking means what you are doing? Shravana Manana Nididhyasanam. We have to take. Okay. And in such cases, what? If that is happening in the waking, in dream also, tada swapne epi tad bhava bhavitaha, the same bhava, correct? Whatever you are visualizing and whatever vasanas, vidya also is a vasana. Vidya impressions you are creating by doing Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, that identity is carried over into Swapna also. Means that is Sahaja, really speaking. Means knowledge is not only there in waking, that waking vasanas are so powerful, they are now there in the dream also, you take yourself as that only. So I am everything, I am the Atma of all, and that is the identity, the self transformation one has to have, correct? So that bhava, whatever bhava you had in the waking, same thing is there in Swapna also. Swapnepi bhavitaha ahameva idam sarvaha asmiti manyate. So what kind of bhava? I, I am all this. I am everything. That is what is said in the Aham Brahmasmiti. There also, this Sarvatma Bhava only is given as the phala for that, correct? The Jnana Phalam that you are enjoying even in dream. Sa yaha Sarvatma Bhavaha Saha Asya Atmanaha Paramaha Lokaha. So what is the Paramaloka means what? What is the highest you can achieve? One can achieve means the Sarvatma Bhava alone is the highest, the greatest or supreme, all that ultimate, whatever adjective you want you can give, it cannot be overstated with any adjective. It is the greatest. So paramo lokaha, paramaha, atma bhavaha, swabhavikaha. Also it is your very nature. Bhashyakara again. This atma bhava, that aham sarvaha, if you take yourself as the self of all, in fact that is your very nature. Your nature is not this identity with this puny body mind sense complex. Understand? By your very nature, you are the limitless conscious being in whom all these things are appearing. That is your very nature, and what that is the knowledge you gain in the waking also by Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, and that Vasana has to carry into Swapna also. and that is the greatest. Yattu sarvatma bhavad arvak valagramatramapi anyatvena drishyate nahamasmiti tad avastha avidya. So now Bhashyakara again explains the avidya. What is avidya? So with this sarvatma bhava is the greatest. It has been said. But before arvak means what? Before you had this sarvatma bhava, even if you have a division which is like the fine hair, correct? Valagra, okay? By a hair's breadth, you think that something is different from me. Udaramantaram kurute atatasya bhayam bhavati. Is there in Taittiriya Upanishad also. Even if you make the slightest division, Dvaita is there. By hair's breadth, something you take as other than you means there is no Sarvatma Bhava. This other. As soon as you other anything from yourself, then that is avidya. Okay, it is all avidya only. And even that little bit avidya can create bhaya. Dvaitadhi bhayam bhavati. Right? This that we saw even in Brhadaranyaka also it is there before. So any bhaya, any fear can be there only when there is a second thing. If there is no second thing, there cannot be any bhaya karana itself. So that is what one has to understand. So Bhashyakara is making here very clear the characteristics of avidya. What is vidya and vidya phalam also. So here nahamasmi iti tadavastha avidya. If you think anything is not yourself, then that is avidya. Taya vidyaya ye pratyupasthapitaha anatma bhavaha lokaha. And only due to this avidya, all the pratyupasthapitaha means what? These are all these things have come about now. Correct? Ignorance only is bringing out all these things. Okay? It is all projected by ignorance. Vidyaya avidyaya pratyupasthapitaha anatma bhavaha lokaha means anything you take as not yourself. And in fact, for an individual, not yourself is so big. That is the big problem. Correct? You are a puny little individual in this huge world. This cosmos, light years, and all that they talk about. We can't even really comprehend how big that measure is. And they talk about millions of light years and all that. That is how big the cosmos is. And who am I in this? I'm not even a speck. Means that is the that is the jiva bhava. If you take yourself as an individual, then you will end up with such thoughts, and it is very depressing. So that is the result of avidya. Okay. So here these are all due to only projected due to avidya. Avidyaya ye pratyupasthapitaha anatma bhava lokaha. In that there can be many lokas also. Correct? Bhur, Guha, Swaha, Maha. All these lokas are all only anatma. And they are all due to avidya. Te aparamaha, stavarantaha. And they are all not parama. They are not the greatest. They are all lowly really. And up to this, whatever stavara, up to the plants, grass, etc. Brahmadi stamba paryantaha, we say, correct? Starting from Brahmaji onwards, up to a small twig, you can have Jiva Bhava everywhere. And all of them, wherever you have Jiva Bhava, it is a problem. It may be a Utkrishta Janma. You may be a Devata, but if you still think, I am an individual, even as a Devata with all the powers, if you take yourself as an individual Devata, then you are a samsari. You will have problems. Whatever you may achieve. Okay? It is all aparamaha. Tan samvyavahara vishayan. lokan apekshya ayam sarvatma bhavaha samastaha anantaraha abhahyaha sahasya paramo lokaha. So with reference to that, this aparama lokaha, only this parama because most Vaidikas are committed to go to different lokas, correct? So that has to be now, that delusion has to be destroyed. That's why Shruti is talking in the same language. Why is it saying it is the Paramaloka? Means Bhashyakara is saying because due to avidya, all these people think that they have to go somewhere. Vaikuntha, Kailasha, all these things are also included in that. Different kinds of Swarga, Brahmaloka, whatever you may call it, they are all Aparamaloka only. And they are all some Vyavahara Vishayan, he says. They are all only in the transactional world. It's all related to Vyavahara, where you take that Loka itself as different from yourself, and therefore you have to reach there. And with reference to them, correct, Lokan Apekshya, I am this Sarvatma Bhava is the Paramaloka, correct? I am Sarvatma Bhavaha, Samastaha, Anantaraha, Abhahyaha means this Sarvatma Bhava is what? It doesn't have anything inside, outside like this. There is no spatial limitation. Anantaraha, Abhahyaha means that only. So that means you don't have to spatially reach this loka. This Sarvatma Bhava is there, available to you all the time to just own up. Correct? It is your very nature. Therefore, it is Anantaraha, Abhahyaha means it doesn't have anything inside or outside, means it is spatially, you transcend space itself. You transcend space-time, therefore the Sarvatma Bhava is here and now. And that is the ultimate loka. Sahasya paramo lokaha tasmat apakrishyamānānām avidyayam vidyayam cha kashtam gatayam sarvatma bhavaha mokshaha. So, this what is this moksha then? This avidya is getting destroyed. Okay, avidya keeps you can say it is eliminated, it is destroyed, it is decaying, it is decreasing all this, and vidya is becoming more and more clear, it is growing, and kashtam gata means it has now become like jnana nishtha we say, correct? That knowledge is now become perfect, you can say. Kashtam gataya means knowledge itself is now very strong, you have clear knowledge. That is what is kashtam. Sa kashta, sa paragatihi also it is there in the Upanishad. So here kashtam gataya means this jnanam has become well rooted, well established, very strong, and it is perfect. And in that, then what? Sarvatma bhavaha mokshaha. So vidyayam kashtam gatayam sati sarvatma bhavaha. Then you have the sarvatma bhava, which is moksha, which is the freedom. And that is being shown here. So he says, Yatha swayam jyotishvam swapne pratyakshataha upalabhyate tadvat vidya phalam upalabhyata ityarthaha. So the swayam jyotishvam, this self luminosity of Atma was is can be understood by the swapna. The swapna avastha only. If you analyze that, we can understand that Atma is a jyoti which is apart from the body mind sense complex, and which is the one which is lighting up this entire dream world along with the dreamer. That we understood from there. So the Swayam Jyotishtam is from Swapna, and similarly here the Vidya Phala also, it is being shown by this analysis that it is, you will gain this Vidya Phalam as Sarvatma Bhava. Tatha avidyayam api utkrishyamanayam तिरोधीयमानायां च विद्यायाम् अविद्यायाः फलं प्रत्यक्षत एव उपलभ्यत. Similarly, what? If avidya is more, correct? So, ignorance is increasing. That is the normal thing for people, correct? And there is no knowledge. Even though you study Vedanta, but still sometimes it doesn't stick. Or you are studying Vedanta just like a book. correct? It doesn't help much. Unless it transforms you, you are in ignorance only. Okay. So the ignorance is increasing. Then the result of ignorance also he says. So that is what he is saying here. So moksha has been shown, vidya phalam has been shown. Again, he is now contrasting that with avidya phalam. So avidyayam api utkrishya manayam. Now the avidya is becoming more. Tirodhiya manayam cha vidyayam means the knowledge is covered. Okay. Knowledge is covered means it has decreased and it is covered, really speaking. Then avidyayaha phalam pratyakshata eva upalabhyate. Then the results of avidya you experience. It's also pratyaksha directly. That's what was pointed out here. Atha yatra yenam ghnantiva jinantiva iti. So all these things, like somebody is as though killing you in the dream, or they are overpowering you, they are arresting you, all that. That was also shown. So both have been shown here. So from this what? Te yete vidya vidya karye sarvatma bhavaha parichinnatma bhavascha. So these two things, the vidya and avidya karya. What are the effects of vidya and avidya? Vidya's effect is sarvatma bhava and avidya's effect is parichinna atma bhava, means you are an individual, limited individual. These two have been shown. Further what? Vidyaya Shuddhaya Sarvatma Bhavati. So due to Vidya and whatever, you become the purity. That means basically here purity means you are owning up to your own very nature. You were never impure. In fact, you are never subjected to any impurity. That is the jnanam we are talking about. That is the Shuddhata you gain now. And because of that what? Sarvatma Bhavati, you become the self of all. Avidyayacha Asarvaha Bhavati. Due to ignorance, you become asarva. He simply says you are not all, means you are small. Correct? Instead of all, you become small due to avidya. Anyataha kutaschit pravibhaktaha bhavati. So you become pravibhaktaha means you become divided. Means you divide yourself into me and others. Correct? Subject, object, all these divisions, you become separated. Okay. This subject object division itself is the is due to ignorance. Okay, so thinking that I am only the subject and taking yourself as a limited individual, this is problem. Okay, and once you take yourself as somebody who is limited and separate from everything else, obviously you become a wanting person. Correct? Wanting person. And if you are wanting means then you are going to have wants or desires. Correct? That is the progression Bhashyakara is talking here now. Kutaschit pravibhaktaha bhavati yataha pravibhaktaha bhavati tena viruddhyate viruddhatvat hanyate jiyate vichhadyate. So basically once you appear separate, okay, so you are separating yourself from all other things, means the other things will now what? You will come into conflict with the other things because everything looks as though it is opposed to you, correct? Even my Guruji Pujya Swamiji used to say, you become like a ninja. If you are a limited being in this world, you are all the time encountering forces which are so big compared to yourself. You are all the time in some kind of a defensive mode. You are in conflict with everything, whether nature or other beings, human beings, other beings, whatever it is. You are in conflict with everybody. And in a conflict, what happens? You will be killed by somebody, you will be overpowered by somebody, or somebody is chasing you. All these things are happening, correct? That's what Bhashyakara is saying here. So, that is the nature of this avidya. And, okay, further we'll see next week. Little bit is there. I don't think I can complete it now. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Dhanyawada, Guruji.
Dhanyawada, Guruji.
Guruji, this Thursday, Friday, we will have this